Hi everybody. Thanks for coming to class yesterday. I just had some easier thoughts about how to make your molds, something that will be really easy and fast. Faster than what I was showing you, and again, because these will never be fired, the ceramic will never be fired, you don't have to worry so much about it holding together during a firing. But there are a few things that you need to know. So first, what you want to do is you want to get a piece of clay and you want to roll it out. So I have my roller and I have rolled it out. And then you want to get an object or a texture that you like. So I have a piece of wood and I can just go in and do some imprints. I could play around with that. I could also take the piece of clay and roll it right onto the texture. So if you see a tree outside, you could run out there and just take an imprint of that. Try and get it right into the grooves. And then when you peel it off, you'll have an imprint of the tree. This piece of wood with the bark on it, as you can see, there are some grooves inside, and here and there you could get some undercuts, which means that your mold could get stuck underneath. So you don't want to have something too textured, just enough that you get a nice texture, something to play with. The other side is also really nice, and that is what I used for my demo piece. Another thing you might want to try and do is, if you have things lying around in the house that you think are neat, you could make a pattern with that. And then you can flip it around. Flip it around. So you have a little pattern. Once you've done that, you want to take something round. This is the top of a spray can of paint lid, and you just push in just a little bit just to get your circle imprint. Don't go all the way, because then it will get stuck inside. So just get 5 circles out of that. Okay. Okay. I'll do this one so that they are more in a row. My paint can lid is not the strongest, so it's not coming out 100% round, but that's okay. Okay, so now you have your 5 circles. You can see how this is fast. The other thing is, before you take this apart, in the case of my wood piece, I could take more textures and play with that. So something that brings them all together. There. Now you have texture. Now what you're going to do, you can use a knife, or I have a little pin tool. These are great for all kinds of uses, so I like these. But you just then go back in and go all the way down to the bottom so that you can get your circle out. Okay, then your circle should come out. So you have your circle. Now I've done one over here. And I've pre-cut two little slabs, two long slabs. So I used a very high-tech ruler to do that with. And I'm going to show you how to do that. So I rolled out my clay, and now I'm just making a strip. And then making another strip. So I want it to be fairly even, so I'm just going to go from this end so I know that that's okay. Now this is just scrap, so that just goes there. So you have two strips. This is the one that will go around your piece. So now you can take your scoring tool and just score it. Just at the very bottom where it's going to meet the piece. Okay. On the other, flip it over on the other side and do the same at the top. That one can be messy, doesn't matter, because it's not against your piece. It's not against the inside walls of the piece, so it doesn't matter. Okay, so now I'm going to do a little scoring around the disc. So just do it at the bottom so it doesn't affect any of the surface of your piece. In ceramics, there's an actual scraper tool which makes this a 2-second job, but I can't find mine. There we go. Okay. Now what I've done here is I've prepared, just leftover clay, smushed it all up, and added some water until I have like a creamy consistency. It holds on the brush, but it's not too thick. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to paint the bottom with it. And you could do a little bit of the bottom here. Okay. And now what we're doing is we're putting the interior wall on. So we're going to wrap the piece with this wall. And see where it stops there? So that tells me that's where I have to cut. Do it like that. And now I'm going to score here. the reason why we're using the slip, it acts like a glue for the clay, and it acts like a suction. So when you press into your piece and you put the wall together, it all gets suctioned together. And if you were to go firing, there would be more finesse in this, but you're not firing. It should hold. Okay. Clean it up. And now you're going to take your other strip. It's not the one I scored, is it? It's not the one I scored. Oh, I scored it on the outside up here. I scored it up on the outside here. Now I have to score this part too. So, boom, 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 boom. You're just creating some spaces for the slip to sort of get inside the clay so that it sticks. So this is what it looks like now. Now we're putting in, remember that reservoir. Notice also I have my line here, so I'm gonna wrap it on the opposite side or in another spot so the lines don't show up in the same place. It'll just make it stronger. And this one might be a little tight. Just stretch it a bit. This is not part of your piece, it's just to keep the excess material that might drip over your piece. See that way, so that when you take it all apart, you know that your piece ends here. Just do this. I could have put slip in there, but I'm not going to bother. So I'm just going to do this, smush it. And so I now have a little reservoir. So if there's extra material, you've poured in too much, you don't have to pour it up to that line, but if you pour in too much, then it captures it. Also, if you know that that is your line, and each time you pour the same amount for each of your molds, so all of your walls are the same height, then when you have all 5 together, they'll all be the same, and then you can compare how the material reacted, how the bioplastics reacted to the clay. So I just have to clean up this little part here so I have a nicer reservoir, but that's it. The next thing that is absolutely crucial, take a paper towel. I like to fold it and then just put it on there. If you have a lot of time before next class, then you could put another paper towel and mist that and just let that sit like that. And let it dry and it will be fine. And then bring those to class. And then we will see what happens with the bioplastics. Each one of them has different properties, and they are, your mold may not even be recognizable. So we'll see how that all goes, but at least you have the same mold for everything, and you can then compare, and it also, you might have a really interesting story, because, you know, a repetitive pattern, you know, goes back to that topic of multiples that I was telling you about. So this is sort of a first attempt to try what a multiple might be. And we will see you all in class. Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.